Is the market in a bubble? Will the market collapse? Will Elon Musk go to March? I have no idea. That's it. It's the end of the video. You can leave. Go away. Go away. Nothing to see here. Okay. I will tell you what I personally think about this whole story. Indeed, I have really no idea. I actually sold my stocks just because I understand that I am not understanding what's happening right now. So basically, there is different factor that may make people worried of the future of the stock market. The first reason is pure pattern. Usually, you have one crisis around each 10 years, and the last crisis was in 2008. It's been 11 years ago. So right now is actually a very good timing for a new crisis. So guys, let's just enjoy the crisis. Have fun. Okay, so what about a more serious reason? So maybe you've heard of the yield curve. And I have nothing personal with the yield curve. It's a pretty nice curve, very beautiful curves. I love them. But I've heard that the curve just inverted. And I know it might be the choice of the curve, but it's not nice actually. Just to let you know what is the yield curve about, it's just how much interest rate you get by buying short-time bond or long-time bond. And we say that the curve is inverted when you get more interest on short time than on long term. Just to make it clear, the yield curve only measures the confidence in the market. If the yield curve is inverted, it only means that people with money are very unconfident of the near future, whereas confident of the long-term future. So you might say, it's fine, if the curve wants to invert, let's just the curve alone. And it would be nice and right, but it happens that actually yield curve inversion are correlated with, and actually it's more than just correlated, yield curve inversion happen more or less before a crisis, and between a few months and 1 year. So it's a little bit worrying. But let's pretend that this time the yield curve is just inverted because why not? Then we have another problem, which has been pointed out by one of the famous names of the Big Short, Michael Burry. Hey, have a look. Half of the market is actually in index fund and investment fund, which has never been the case before. Once again, nothing wrong about invest fund and index fund. Very nice guy. Not very talkative, but I'm sure that they're very nice. I don't know them personally. And I just don't want that if any of you are working in an index fund, you feel uncomfortable. Okay? We are broadly inclusive and you are welcome. Just do not enter inside. So what's wrong with having half of the market cap in the index fund? Well, it's a little bit worrying because it can mean that half of the transactions are made by index funds that are just following the index. So they just buy slices of huge company and little slices of smallest companies according to the ranking of the SP 500. So it means every index fund have some share of Google. And Google is a very nice company, but if everybody is having some Google share and Google is having some trouble, everybody will get in trouble. And you have to think about what should index fund do when Google is in trouble. The market share of Google decrease, his weighting in the SP 500 decrease, so the index fund have to sell some of the share of Google and buy some share of other companies. And this will be fine if not all the index funds want to do it at the same time. Because if they do so, it might have an impact on the price of Google, which may snowball in a very naughty way. And by naughty, I probably don't mean what you are fantasizing about. So it means that if all the big market cap company of the SP 500 start to decrease in value because of some reason, randomly it start to happen, then all the index fund will have to rebalance and it could have a bad impact on the price and it will be very bad. And that's basically what people means by there won't be enough liquidity if all index funds want to sell those companies at the same time. I was actually about to forget two important points that I really wanted to mention. First one is that this company, big tech company, they are doing a lot of buyback. They buy their own stock, which mechanically increase the price of their stocks, and it's a way to give money back to the investor. I'm a little bit worried that this approach, in such amount, more than 100% of the cash flow of the biggest company was used in buyback, which is a little bit worrying because it can mean that this mechanism could overprice the stock. But that's just my personal point of view on it, and it might be wrong, so you should not worry too much about it. The second thing is that recently the Fed started printing money in a very strange way. Since the interest rate of short-term bond went very high, they're starting buying them. So it means that basically they're injecting a huge amount of money in the system. Here on the top of the system, where are the bank and big companies, and they don't call it quantitative easing, but actually it's quite similar. Say it's the same thing. The last time the Fed used quantitative easing, it was after the 2008 crisis, in order to relaunch the economy. There has been some study on it. It increased the inequality between very rich people and company and very poor people. And although I don't really understand the intrinsic detail of the intervention, it seems to me that the fact they had to do something means that the system is not running very well right now. But let's suppose that price discovery is not impacted by so much index fund in the market, that those companies are really valued at what they mean, and let's pretend that rebalancing won't have an impact on the liquidity. So everything is fine, right? Well, actually not so right, because China. It happens that China is not making America great again, and we are in trouble. And you are in trouble too, because I own American market share and you own American market share too. So what's happening right now between the American state and China is a little bit worrying again. Basically, China and America are interdependent. China is dependent as a semiconductor company like Intel and AMD, and Americans are dependent from Chinese workforce. And lots of products are imported from China. America was pretty happy about it until China started to compete in their market. And actually it has always been their goal. At the beginning I was very happy that American company moved to China because they started building this complex product and Chinese people could learn how to build them. And after some time, obviously, competitors appear. So what America is doing, they are trying to block China from their market. The thing is that first they are too big to fail, second it's hurting also Americans. And you can't believe that Europe is going to follow America so far. And actually they had to come back to their ban of Huawei, at least for a short amount of time, because it's also impacting American company. And Europe won't close the market just because America don't like this competitor. Actually, they will provide cheaper product, more affordable, and it's good for the people living in Europe. And it will also be good for the people living in America. But all this uncertainty and this interference with the markets, they create troubles to companies that will be more careful about their future investment, which may impact their revenue, and they may not reach their targeted goal, and people may start thinking, oh, Google is actually not as good as it used to be. Maybe I won't hold Google this year. So that's actually why people think we are on the verge of a recession. And recession can just be a slowdown of the economy and everything is fine. But it can be also the starting point of a crisis or a market crash. So the future is pretty uncertain for the market, especially on short term. We kind of all hope that in 10 years everything will be fine again, but we don't know where the market will be in 1 year. So you are still here? What do I think about all this story? Um, Honestly, I really don't know. I personally sold my stocks because I think there is a 50% chance that things goes very wild the next year, and I want to have some time to think about it. If you are investing on really long term, like 10 years, you don't really have to bother about all this stuff. It really matters if you are trying to have the best return on interest on 1 or 2 years. I think that if you really want to make money out of stock, you have to carefully pick them and learn how to evaluate companies. And that's not something easy, actually. People take MBA classes just to learn how to do it, and most of them are very bad at doing it. But if you really want to make money out of stock market, like more than 10%, I think you don't have the choice. You really have to learn. And this is actually a full-time job. So at the moment, I only own some stocks that I think won't be affected at all by a hypothetical crisis. It's basically Berkshire Hathaway, the company of Warren Buffett, and also GameStop, which is a company that is quite in trouble. And I hope they manage to make the right choice, but it's really not obvious that they're on the right way. I like to take a little bit of risk. So what if you choose to not be in the market, but still have some money that you don't want to let in your bank account? Well, I would say that the safest thing right now is land and real estate in a very attractive city like Paris, New York, Berlin, Vienna. You won't have a big return on interest, but at least it will go through pretty much any kind of crisis. I mean, apart from a global war, I don't really see what can impact the value of an apartment in middle of Paris. But it only works if you have a huge amount of money, so if you just have some, you can try to buy land, or maybe just buy bonds and wait and see. So if you like my awful accent, or even if you don't, and want to have more of this small talk together, I would be really pleased if you subscribe to my channel, press this like button, and also give me your access to your bank account or your Bitcoin wallet. It would be very nice, really. I would personally appreciate it a lot. And that's it. I wish I will see you again, maybe in the next video and I hope I will see you again, maybe in a very interesting video about makeup, nail hermaphroditism, or maybe machine learning. Who knows? Hermaphroditism? Nail hermaphroditism?